So let's go back to your questions again. All right. What will happen when one customer performs multiple small amount transaction in one day? Again, repeated question, structuring US predator. How are you working on data protection? Okay, forget about high level and low level requirement. We discussed that. What is Customer Protection Act? We discussed that. Suspicious activity report. So suspicious activity report under Bank Secrecy Act is called SAR filing, SCR filing. All the financial institutes are responsible to conduct investigations and inquiries on any transaction or any activity of their customer or their account if they feel it is suspicious. Suspicious activities could be categorized into many ways. There could be structuring activity. There could be that a customer is doing structuring activity. They are changing their address continuously, and after changing address, their behavior of account has changed. Early payment of loan, activity in inactive account, and all those scenarios that I discussed, I think on third or fourth question, can be categorized into suspicious activity. What do banks and financial institute do for money laundering? They simply need to set up principles, practices, and platforms to ensure that they are monitoring the activities, transactional activities, account activities properly. And to start this process, they need to ensure their KYC process is complete, and KYC process is capturing all the information that is needed for the investigation, tracking, and monitoring purposes. And then eventually, the AML systems need to be in place, properly updated, enhanced, and they need to go through proper audits time to time again to ensure that they are capturing the activities properly, they're creating the alerts properly, and these alerts are being investigated and closed on timely manner as well as reported on timely manner. Also need to ensure that your tools or software that you're using for AML are not creating false positive or false negatives. Can someone tell me what is false positive alert and what is false negative alert? A system is creating a false positive.
Yeah, when somebody is doing a transaction under $10,000 and it is still getting reported as over that, then it's a false positive.
Exactly. Okay. Anything that should not have any activity or transaction that should not have created alert, the alert is still
But
being
but it is.
created through one of the rule or one of the logic, that is a false. What is false negative?
Just the opposite. When an alert should have been created, but it is not alerting,
What
then
could
it
be
is a
the
false
reason
negative.
behind false negative?
Data capturing is not done properly.
Excellent. Data capturing is not done properly. Your parameters or thresholds that you have set up in your rules, they might not be working properly. Data integration issues can also come into it. So, and maybe minor bugs in the system as well. So these are different. Good, Rahul. Uh, can you tell me about different tabs that show on customer screen while using Actimize REST case manager screen that is now called Act 1? So cases, alerts, workbench. So main tab is workbench. Okay, security blanket and admin. Have you guys seen the nice Actimize front end or not? Anyone?
I
No,
haven't.
we haven't.
September batch. You guys must have seen it. September batch. Seriously, guys. So this whole guide is nothing but the front end. Actimize case manager, chapter 10, page 149. SAM solution guide.
Okay, we have seen this one in November batch.
Okay.
You did show us that. I just
Mhm.
thought you meant maybe you were showing the actual
This is a this is act.
program.
No, 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 no. Of course, I can't. It's a licensed. It's a, I don't know, $3-4 million software. So how can I show you that? I don't have that much money. Okay, this one. So page chapter 10 talks about risk case manager. Nowadays, they don't call it risk case manager. They call it Act 1, ACTONE1. What are the tabs on risk case managers that we'll be able to see now? So this is all the tabs. These are all the pages, functionalities. But I'm gonna take you to the first one when it starts. Here you go. You guys can see my screen. Cases,
Yes.
workbench is all the alerts that being worked on, who's working on them, what is alert score, ID, research, policy manager, and setting. So if somebody asks you what were the tabs on your nice Actimize solution, again these questions will not come from clients. These questions may come from the vendors, the technical partners who are working with the client, who will have the first interview. So cases tab, workbench, research, policy manager, and setting. Clear? Let's go back. Okay, what was your part in Actimize team in your project? How are you working with the cross-functional team? My part as being a BA in the Actimize team was to gather the information from business stakeholders, what modules, what scenarios, what logics that they want to implement from Nice Actimize, specifically SAM solution, what kind of customization threshold tunings they want, and major task was on the data side to be able to process data, analyze data, and map data, which further would go into the UDM of Actimize, so work closely with the ETL team. And eventually major role was played in testing, performing user acceptance testing and functional testing to be able to see if all the alerts are working, all the logics and rules are working fine, and alerts are being generated properly, highlighting and identifying false positive, false negative, raising defects. So all those were my tasks. Again, you have a script for it. What were you doing for report generation in project? I was not doing anything on the report generation. We were simply setting up the system so it is a self-sufficient system which can generate reports once enter the key data into the report template. How are reports generated in different streams of Actimize? Not sure about this question. Client CTS, JP Morgan Chase. How do you handle difficult users? We've discussed that. How do you become a BA? By luck, shortcut, faking it. How long you have been working as a BA? 7-8 years. Tell me about your last project. How would you rate yourself in SQL? I would rate myself in SQL 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 as far as my role as a BA is concerned. I'm going to do analysis using the SQL queries and creating mapping documents. I rate myself highly in SQL Server. What do you like most about your BA job? Connecting with people, working with different cross-functional teams. That is something that I really like. Explain inner and outer joins, so you know that. How do you do data mapping, data analysis? We've discussed it so many times. How do you pull data from database? Simply using SQL Server, using queries, we can pull data, and also we can pull data on Excel sheets as well. Explain the whole Agile Scrum methodology. We've discussed that. How many meetings there are in Agile Scrum? We know that. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. Client TCS, JP Morgan Chase. Briefly introduce yourself. Tell me about your project with PNC, which is your recent project. What were your roles in your last project regarding to KYC systems? Of course, depends, was it an enhancement project or implementation project on KYC? Again, the process is same. BA, what responsibility you perform. There were many modules on KYC system like CDD modules, CDD, EDD, CIP, risk scoring, working with all these teams, creating process flows for each and every account type that we were offering within our KYC onboarding solution, gathering information, interacting with users, working on data, what kind of data you handled. Is that trade data, or what? We handle different types of data, customers data, their KYC data, reference data, account transactional data. What are the databases you interacted with? SQL Server, how good you are with SQL, which domain of AML side you work with. Wrong question. Were you directly involved with Actimize team, and how? Yes, we had interaction with them during the data workshops when we were highlighting different issues or were finalizing data mapping and data analysis. So we had interaction, and also when we were asking for customization, we had interaction with them. Are you okay for Brooklyn, New York, or New Jersey location? I am okay as long as you give me job. That should be the right answer. Can you come for an in-person interview? Of course. Client, Devon Technology, Stonegate, mortgage. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your past project. Do you have experience in mortgage domain? What is mortgage life cycle? What is loan origination? What are different channels to apply for or to get mortgage? What investor reporting? It's a Credit Suisse. Tell me about yourself in last project. So this is a client interview. Now you would see. Explain inner and outer join. What is a trigger? What is a trigger, guys?
Whenever user interacts with the system,
So anything that triggered him to use. So basically, talking about use cases, and one of the component in use case is trigger. Remember, use case ID, use case name, use case description, trigger, actor, outcome, precondition, post condition, main flow, alternative flow, and exceptional flow. So trigger simply is when user is interacting with the system, something has triggered him, or something happened before that. Either he logged in, wanted to view a report. Um,
Imran, can it be related to SQL?
it could be related to SQL if they ask by the way, in SQL, what is trigger in SQL? Anyone? I don't know, honestly.
Trigger is a set of statements which performs a particular task. So we can write multiple statements in trigger.
it
Mm,
can be whenever, for example, if a customer is using your wealth management tool and he wants a report about his spending, whenever he clicks on that button, it triggers an SQL query is sent for his previous transactions. They're all recorded and then generated as a report. That can act as a trigger
yeah, okay, good.
because that'll send a predetermined SQL query back to where all his transactions, date of the transaction, amount, what he did, what he purchased, what he sold. It can be used in anything. So all the data that has been coming from any data warehouse or anything can act as a trigger for
Okay.
SQL.
Yeah, so this would be SQL question on trigger, because before that they've asked about SQL question. What is BRD, FRD? What is a view in SQL table? What is a view in SQL table? Simply the view that you have, like table information within that, correct? Or there's something else? Is it a function? What is view in SQL table? Nav, Navneet?
It's it's a virtual table, I think, based on the query fired.
Sorry?
It's a virtual table which is created when a SQL statement is
Okay, yeah,
given.
executed.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, got it.
yeah.
All right, what is OTC derivative, guys? Over the counter derivatives. Derivatives are OTC actually. So what is OTC or derivative? It's the same question. So derivatives are contract which derive their value from an underlying assets. There are different types of derivative contracts: forward, future, option, and swaps. Name three attributes in OTC derivative. Over the counter derivative, they are going to be executed over the counter between parties. They don't go through a proper channel. OTC derivative generally, there would be a premium related to OTC derivative, that is called, if let's suppose the OTC is option premium. If it is forward or future, then they will also have a premium attached to that, and there's going to be a maturity or expiry date for those derivatives. An expiry date is that where before that the participant should execute or let it go. How did you do data mapping, data analysis? What is RTM? I'm gonna ask you now question these. What is RTM?
Requirement traceability matrix. It
That's
is
it.
basically used to trace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go. Keep going. Keep answering.
Yes. So it's basically used to trace a requirement, especially when a bug is occurred. So we can trace a requirement in either forward direction or in the backward direction. In the forward direction, we can trace a feature from PRD to FRD, FRD to use case, and use case to test plan document. So it's essentially helpful to know from which business requirement a particular bug is coming from, so we
Very
can
nice.
find out the reason if there is any error in any test plan or test case in the document.
Very nice. Okay. Name some underlying assets of.
Imran,
Yes, please.
Imran, sorry, question. Have we covered OTC and RTM in November batch? Because I
Yes.
don't remember.
Yes.
We have?
Yes. Chapter part
Oh,
two, testing part two, RTM, and then capital market securities day two derivatives. Within derivatives are generally OTC, option, call option, put option, forward, future. All these are OTC. OTC simply mean over the counter between parties. Like let's
okay,
suppose
okay. I have to go over it again.
yes, please
I
check
don't
it.
remember.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Um, Name some underlying assets of derivative. Underlying assets could be securities such as equities, fixed income, foreign exchange as well, and also commodities, for example, gas and oil. Okay, and precious metal as well. What is the difference between listed stock and unlisted stock? What is the difference between listed stock? So listed stock is the one which is listed on New York Stock Exchange. Unlisted stock is the one which is not listed on New York Stock Exchange. And trading in those stocks, generally those stocks are called yellow listed stocks or blacklisted stocks or unlisted stocks. And if you're trading in them, then they must be reported by your brokerage firm. Generally, unlisted stocks can be traded between the parties, between private broker dealers. What do you put in your daily status report? Just what I've done, what I'm going to do, what challenges I'm facing. Are you open to relocate? Yes. Tell me about yourself in last project. Explain inner. How do you do it? I mean, same thing, same thing. Okay. Tell me about your first project. What is OFAC? Office of Foreign Assets and Control. That is a compliance authority that provide guidelines on all the cross-border transactions. Either those are banking transactions or trading transactions. And how do you document it? I don't understand why they ask. What is the difference between BRD, FRD? How to conduct UAT testing? What are use cases? What financial domain you worked up? What reporting application tools you have worked upon? Reporting applications simply Tableau, Spotfire, Power BI, MicroStrategy. As a BA, brief me your overall experience. What exactly your role was in second project? While preparing portfolios, who give you the investment details? I don't prepare portfolios, but investment manager is the one who will give us the investment details. Who files our reports? Our reports are filed by the chief compliance officers, CCOs, where alerts will be generated and to whom alerts will be generated, to the risk case manager. Also, they will be sent through emails to the relevant users, and the group of users are basically different levels who are working on the platform: level 0, level 1, level 2. What is CCAR, capital cap? Have you guys gone through the risk management recording that I've shared yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay, November
I,
batch.
I yeah, I didn't know that you shared something. Um,
So go through it. CCAR is basically
okay.
a comprehensive capital analysis review reporting platform that every bank holding company, and bank holding company is the one who has more than $50 billion in their assets. They have to do reporting to Federal Reserve. There are four types of reports which come under CCAR reporting: FRY 14A, 14Q, 14M, and 9C. Some reports are quarterly, some are monthly, and one of them, which is FRY 14A, is annual report. Every report is going to provide information on certain datas and certain sectors of your financial institute. For example, FRY 14Q would have all the loan, mortgage, credit card, and their address matching information. FRY 9C is a report which will have all the balance sheet and income statement items. FRY 14M is going to be monthly report which will have pre-provision net revenue. information, and FRY 14A is annual report, which will have information of all these reports plus the next 9 quarters forecasted data. What are your outflows and inflow, expected outflows and inflows, and applying certain stress test scenarios such as GDP, macroeconomic scenarios, GDP, inflation, interest rate, unemployment, all those factors, and how those are going to affect your bank overall. And this report is basically filed to ensure that you have proper liquidity uh, as a bank in your hand to overcome any situations or crisis such as 2007 financial crisis. I know too much, but if you are going to answer in your interview, you need to be able to compile your statements properly and professionally. What was difficult situation you
Imran,
faced?
this is Nidhi.
Hi, hi Nidhi.
Yeah, this report was not covered in that risk management uh, the video.
Sure, seeker was not covered.
No, you had said that you will cover in the next lecture
Okay, let me see if
because
there's a let me see if
yeah.
there's a CCAR part 2 also. I'll upload it there.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Client Bank of West introduction, recent project, all about Actimize in and out, role as a BA in recent project, any challenges you faced, what versions of CTR and SAM modules you use, 9.1, 9.2, you can see on your guides as well. What kind of difficult situation you face? Can you talk about your second project? What is CCAR? How did it work? Okay, interview question, client Tavant, Fifth Third Bank, Ohio. Is it in California as well? Fifth Third Bank? Rahul, have you?
Yes, branches.
Okay, branches, okay. So head office is in, I think, Ohio. Interview questions. Tell me your experience as a BA. What was your role in previous project? Explain the process of mortgage loans. If the borrower is not able to pay, how you mitigate the loss, foreclosing it, of course. How you calculate risk is going to be calculated based on different factors. We calculate their credit risk based on their ability to pay back, and by checking their previous relationship with banks, also their documents, their pay scale, what is their employment, how much they earn, and all those things. What is different between BRD, FRD? What is process flow? How do you gather it? See, these are not rocket science. These questions are basic. We discuss on daily basis. What were the challenges you face if someone in the meeting hijacked your meeting? How would you handle the situation? Yeah, that can happen. How can you handle it? Question number 10.
First of all, keep your calm and try to divert the discussion back to your meeting points.
Yes. Okay, good. Any other input?
It all depends upon how the meeting was hijacked. Now, so then we can.
Yeah, somebody just started talking about when you were giving some presentation or your information that you have, and someone just started being nosy and maybe diverting you. Sometimes it's a jealousy factor as well. You will see it. Even your own fellows, your colleagues, when they feel that this person is talking about certain points, and maybe they at the end they will be the one who will be taking all the what is called all the
Credit for it.
credit for it. Sorry, thank you so much, my English is not that good. Credit for it, so they feel like we also should jump in, and the way we should talk about it, it should sound that we have put effort as well. So one thing we can do is giving credit to everyone, the whole team, when you start your meeting, by giving credit to everyone who participated and supported you in this information. So that would be one factor where you can mitigate the situation before even it happens. And second thing, as Rahul said, uh, so these are two things that are coming to my mind. uh, and third thing is, I don't know. I really don't know. I have to think about it.
Usually you say, thank you for all your inputs, but I'll really appreciate it once I've been done. You can do that.
Yeah, 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 that can also happen. Okay, I can do that. Introduction based on my roles and responsibility. Were you a Scrum Master anytime? Yes, one of my project I was being a Scrum Master as well as a BA. I had to conduct all the Scrum calls, organize the Jira dashboards, communicate back to the development team as well as to the business team. So I was a Scrum Master. Market risk. What is market risk? Market risk is something which is uncontrollable. Market risk can arise anytime. There could be so many fluctuations in the market, interest rate changes, overall GDP, inflation, any other factors can affect you. So that is a market risk. How do you identify market risk? Market risk can be identified based on different methodologies. I think I've covered it in the risk management as well. One of the method is VAR, value at risk. One of the method is Monte Carlo simulations, where you try to look back at last 500 days progress of your company or portfolio or anything on which you're checking the market risk, seeing the trends, and then based on those trends, defining the relevant strategies. Okay, what type of document you made? PRD, FRD, user story specification, process flows, data mapping, all those test cases. What are the terminologies for sale point? What is it? Sale point? Point of sale system, POS? I don't know. TCS, World Bank. World Bank, why would World Bank ask this question? What are different points and sale point? I don't know. I really don't know the purpose behind this interview. Let's go to JP Morgan. Tell me SQL query to fetch whole data. Select statement, or if you want, okay, yeah,
Yes.
good.
Select star
Yeah,
from the
okay.
table.
What is flat file?
Flat file is a can be the Excel file, CSV file.
Yeah, it's a data file, Excel file, CVS file, which might need organizing it using delimitation
Delimiters.
delimiters. Okay. What is Scrum?
Semicolon.
Okay, what is Scrum? Scrum is a meeting call. What do you about VLOOKUP and pivot table? What do you know about VLOOKUP and pivot table? I've used it in for the analysis purposes. Tell me about swap. Swap are one of the derivative contracts, and there are different types of swaps. Swaps are credit default swap, currency exchange swap, interest rate swaps. There is one more: interest rate swap, currency exchange swap, credit default swap. There's one more: credit default swap, interest rate swap, currency exchange swap. Anyone? Okay, interest rate swap, currency swap, credit default swap, equity swap, zero coupon swap. Haven't heard about these, but there are four major types of swap. So make sure you guys know the definition of all your securities. That is important. Okay, coming back to your interview questions again. What regulations did you work upon? AML regulations, such as different AML regulations, BSA, Patriotic Act. Also on the capital market side, FINRA regulations, trading regulations, SEC regulations, Security Exchange Commission, NASDAQ regulations. Morgan Stanley, tell me about your first project. Tell me about your second project. Have you worked on AML tool? Yes. Were you part of AML tool? Yes. Did you work on Actimize module? Yes. What exactly you did in online banking system? What software did you use for SQL? SQL Server Management Studio or MySQL? Who is the client on your first project? XYZ Bank. Okay, how did you interview stakeholders? Have to set up meetings with them, invite them by looking at their calendar when they are free, and then sending them the agenda. Any inputs that I already have, any questions that we have, we can send them. Difficult situation: how do you develop financial functional requirement, user stories or epics or FRD experience up to my recent project? Okay, all right. So yeah, so that's We'll keep discussing these questions later on. Uh, all right. Anyone has any question? I'm having a really bad headache, so I would like to close this call now. And for the November batch, tomorrow we'll start working on your resumes. And for the September batch, simply join the call and do your mock interviews. Any question?
Imran, can I leave the call? I have to prepare for my mock with Milan.
Yes, yes, Priti.
Thank you.
I'm asking everyone to leave the call actually, if you understand.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Bye.
Imran.
Bye, bye.
Bye.
Imran,
Bye.
can you upload this recording in our drive?
Yes, I'll upload in both of your drives. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You-
Thank
you.
you.
Take
Thanks,
some
Imran.
rest.
Take care.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Imran Rupinder here.
Hi, Rupinder.
Hi, Imran. I just sent you my first assignment that is functional and non-functional requirements. So, can we consider like a hotel reservation booking system? Because the
Mhm.
second assignment is
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. I
and
did.
I'm like having trouble making that user stories. Like you said that functional requirements like can be converted to the user stories. So like I want to discuss with you. Maybe tomorrow, if you are not like feeling well, we will
Yeah, you simply need to
uh,
understand that the user story specification, the major part is going to be the acceptance criteria. That is simply the
mm-hmm,
whole process. So let's suppose if you're booking a hotel, okay,
mm-hmm.
to be able to book a hotel, what are the steps? All those steps will become part of your acceptance criteria.
Okay,
Okay.
like my first step is name and contact information of primary guest. So how I can like change into the user story?
So
It is
user
like as a
as a
yes.
user, I should be able to provide the primary contact information within the system, or system should be able to capture the user information on their primary contact information, address information. Now, when you're
Okay.
writing on the acceptance criteria, simply mention that what information in contact and personal or address information system must capture. For example, first name, last name, middle
Okay.
initial, social security number must be captured, or date of birth must be captured. Customer current address, with address they must provide their first line, second line, zip code, county, any other information, state information. So this would be your acceptance criteria.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
हाँ
Yeah, I will try and will send you, and please let me know where I am wrong.
ठीक है, मुझे
So
वो
I
ईमेल नहीं आई आपकी, आई डिडंट रिसीव योर ईमेल.
okay, मैं आपको फिर से
भेज
दोबारा से सेंड हूँ.
imranrafiq.rwgba@gmail.com, ये वाली ईमेल है, ठीक है.
ठीक है. हाँ जी, मैं
ओ,
आज भेज दूंगी आपको.
चले हो.
ओके.
टेक
गुड डे.
केयर.
बाय.
बाय.
बाय. टेक